Good morning, 11 minutes past 8. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Thank God it's Friday, 20th day of June. So many of you already itching to finish with work and just go relax and take a break from all the drama we've experienced this week. Still, people in Benue State are mourning. Whatever you could do to support NGOs, human rights groups, it's really harsh. The fact that for over 10 plus, you listen to my conversation with the media advisor to the governor of Benue State, talking about how for more than 15, 20 years, there are people who have left their ancestral homes. They've not been living in their villages, in their houses. They've been living in IDP camps in their own state. It's not like there was some natural disaster. The question had always been, so what is the police doing? What was anybody doing to make sure this thing was sorted out? We almost became comfortable with the situation. So let's not forget that, because this conversation around what happened in Benue is going to go on for a while. In the meantime, for today, the 36 governors of Nigeria have agreed that they are going to dismantle illegal roadblocks and also help tackle the problem of multiple taxes, because they believe that is what could be responsible for the inflation of food prices in the country. I don't know how many of you agree with that, which is why on Facebook, if you go to Facebook now at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH, you would find a post where we're asking you to tell us whether you agree or you share the same position with the governors who believe that the roadblocks and the multiple taxes are responsible for food inflation in the country. Remember, prior to this time, there have been many other things that have been cited as being responsible, but the major factor had always been production. We're not doing much with production, and with what's happening in Benue, you can imagine how many farmers are no longer going to their farms. And that's not just the place. If you go beyond Benue, Jos, other parts of the northeast, northwest, even in parts of the north central, we have similar problems. And so for many, that has been responsible for why the price of food is where it is now. That's the fundamental problem. But there's also the problem of illegal roadblocks, according to the governors, and multiple taxes. Have these roadblocks not been there before when food price was low? That was the question I asked myself when I was listening to the NGF chairman and governor of Kwara State, who signed the communique. In my head, I'm like, we've had food prices low in this country before, and we've had checkpoints on the roads and illegal roadblocks, whatever you call them. We've had people have to pay what they call a guje locally. Some other places call it deve. Some other people call it whatever we call it. People have been paying that for long to youth groups, to security operatives who man some of these roads, and so on and so forth. But the price of food has continued to remain low, even in those times. So how come now the governors have resolved that dismantling this would solve the problem of food inflation, saying that it is the major reason for it? Well, so get on Facebook and let us know what you think, if you share the same move. In the meantime, I'd like us to listen to this. I'm trying to just get out a particular sound I want us to listen to. Okay, so yeah, this is something that was the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, read the communique at the end of the meeting. Said the governors had resolved to do the dismantling and also tackle the problem of multiple taxes. They believe it is responsible for, again, the inflation in food prices.
The NSA noted that a high-level interministerial committee has been established to address these concerns and has submitted its recommendation for the endorsement of the forum. Governors thereafter acknowledged the urgency of this matter and expressed commitment to collaborate with the federal authorities to streamline the levies, to dismantle unauthorized checkpoints, and to improve the movement of goods, especially food items, across the state.
Fantastic. Well said. Beautiful on paper. But then I'll take our minds back to a few things. I'll start with this question. How many residents of River State, let's just start, how can you identify an authentic checkpoint? Because with the manner in which some police officers conduct themselves, you can't even question them and ask them whether this checkpoint is legal or authorized. So how do Nigerians and road users know which checkpoint is authentic, which is authorized, which is legal. Because the emphasis here is not dismantling any checkpoint, it's about dismantling illegal roadblocks, illegal ones, not anyone, but illegal ones, which means those ones are not authorized. Now, how would people know the ones that are authorized and the ones that are not authorized? That's a question that's on one side that I'd like us to ponder on. But then in 2017, September 2017, the Inspector General at the time, Ibrahim Idris, ordered immediate dismantling of all roadblocks nationwide, particularly on major expressways. I'm talking nationwide dismantling of roadblocks. And there was a reason for doing that. The reason was to enable the ease of doing business, safeguard and guarantee free passage of goods and travelers. At that time, was the price of food low? I mean, remember, this was the Buhari administration, and it was not funny at the time as well with regards to inflation. In fact, Nigerians just started trying to adjust to that kind of lifestyle. At the beginning of it, it was a lot for a lot of people. That was 2017. And the reason I just stated for you, in 2018, Vice President Yomi Shibajo, at the time he was acting president, also demanded that the IGP, Ibrahim Idris, restructured SARS, ban, stop, and search raids. They also talked about the roadblocks to be dismantled. This was a roadblock that was supposed to have been dismantled in 2017 by the same IGP. So you would wonder why the vice president in acting president capacity would be requesting that something that was supposed to be, there were announcements that thing should be dismantled in 2017. They're still asking for them to be dismantled now. I'll go backwards even more just to do you one better and go to 2012. 2012, it was Inspector General of Police MD Abubakar who pronounced the outright ban on all checkpoints across the country. I think that was almost one of the first times, and it was the Goodluck administration where we saw roadblocks. At least we experienced and witnessed a season where roadblocks all had to leave the roads. It was a beautiful drive if you were using the East-West Road at that time, going to anywhere along the East-West Road routes, right? It was a beautiful drive. We experienced it for a while, but guess what? I mean, I think you know the answer to that. So, in the early 2000s, there are reports that we also had seen announcements for checkpoints to be removed. Unfortunately, we do not know the announcement that brings these checkpoints back. We only hear announcements to dismantle and remove them. In the cases where those announcements were obeyed, like in the one of 2012, when it was obeyed, because, I mean, I'm sure you would agree with me that you also experienced, these checkpoints leaving the road and roadblocks leaving the roads. When it came back, we didn't know what brought it back because I can't remember hearing any announcement. Maybe they were, but I just did not catch it. If you did, please, you would let us know. But that was the situation. I can still go on and on, but I don't have all the time. So I just wanted to give you an idea that this will not be the first time we're hearing this. For economic purposes and many other reasons, it's been done before. So you now add this question to it. Would you agree that this is what is majorly responsible? Because they did not say partially responsible. They didn't say, I was going through the statement. They didn't say, they said it as though it's the major cause for inflation of food prices. So what do you think? On Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That's the handle. On Facebook. 92.3 Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That is the handle. In 2021, Inspector General of Police Usman Akali Baba ordered the removal of roadblocks on several routes across the country. For that one, it was for easy flow of traffic. The Biniore Road was one of those places I remember vividly that was included in some of the areas that he had said they should be removed. Please, if you have used Biniore Road recently, tell me whether it is what it is or it's different. In 2023, Acting Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetekun ordered commissioners of police across all states, including the FCT, to immediately commence dismantling of checkpoints within their areas of responsibilities and arrest violators. I told you guys I could go on and on. Yes, because I prepared for this one. I could go on and on with the dates, but time will not allow us. We need to hear from you. So quickly, get on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. And share your thoughts with us. On WhatsApp, it is 0809 030 6416. So, as most people would like to see dismantling of roadblocks across the country, as most can indeed, yes, they will be annoying. It's annoying. Sometimes it's annoying. But is there any danger in a total removal of roadblock? That's also a question we should ask. This question came in 2012. I remember vividly when President Goodluck Jonathan had that meeting, and then the announcement was made by the IGP at the time. And then the roadblocks would be removed. Yes. And I remember then people were talking about kidnapping on the East-West Road and oh, what will happen? Criminals would be doing this. Criminals would be doing that. I don't know about you, but there was relative peace at that time. At least I'm talking this from experience. I'm not saying it was for everybody. For me personally, and some of the people that, we spoke with at the time, it was relatively quiet. But do we still have advantages of having these checkpoints on the road? Is there a fear we should have if there's a total removal of roadblocks? Meanwhile, the statement of the governor said illegal roadblocks, so which means perhaps we might still have some. So the problem is now, how do we identify the one that's legal and the one that's illegal? Well, all of these are angles to this particular development, and I'm sure you have a lot that you want to say about it. I'll start with taking some of your WhatsApp messages first. 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416. On Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That is the handle. Like the page, join the live stream. Don't forget, keep your comments as short as possible. Thank God Ability says, no be today we begin here dismantling of checkpoints across the country. Federal government should reopen our borders for free flow of goods and services. Onyengam says, roadblock multiple taxation is one of what the challenges of traders are facing. Yes, it is. There's multiple taxation. You have agberos, you have different groups that are on the roads collecting money because you use a Hilux to carry something. You pay them because there are just a lot of things. I don't know who set these things up, because somebody's authorizing these youths to do these things on the roads. I had someone call me because why they drove a Hilux. It wasn't carrying anything, but they were asked to pay. And I had to confirm from the authorities, and I say, yeah, you have to register, have a sticker for your Hilux, so whether it's private or whether it's for business. So the only Hilux that's exempted is the government plate number Hilux, because there's no way to verify that the Hilux you are driving is for personal use only. So you have to now get sticker. If you don't have it, you now pay good amount of money. The person that called me paid almost 50,000. So I don't know how these things work and who empowers it, but you have those things, and then you have people transporting foodstuff, livestock, all those things from other parts of the country, and they have to use, let's say, the East-West Road, or coming from Lagos, coming from, let's say, Niger State, and the rest of them coming down this way. They would have to pay. There are reports that they pay as much as 50, 20, 30,000 to checkpoints, police checkpoints, before the cow gets here, or before the goats get here, before the tomatoes get here, before the yams get here. They have to pay at every checkpoint. So eventually when they arrive, they add all of that cost into the money. But my question is, these things had been there in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. People still, but the prices of food was not as high as it is now. Something must have been different in between. We'll find out after the commercial. Stay with us. Good morning.
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
In today
With the conversation. My name is Ifeemi Andrews. Said quite a lot already on the first half of the show, taking your minds back to several other times we've heard the order, take off roadblocks, checkpoints. In fact, in those times, I'm talking the 2012s, 2017s and the others, it was mostly about taking away all checkpoints from the road. All right. In some instances, it was just unauthorized checkpoints and roadblocks. In this particular one that the governors have agreed upon is dismantling illegal. Does that mean that we would have legal ones? And if we are, how do we know which is legal? Because you know the Nigerian behavior. It is a typical Nigerian that becomes a policeman. And so if that's the case, what is the tendency that because of this, any checkpoint you see all becomes legal? There's also that possibility. And can you then ask the officer to know whether this is a legal checkpoint or not? Is there going to be a list of the legal checkpoints so that Nigerians and people in Rivers State would know, people who will do interstate travels would know the one that's legal? These are all questions that need to be asked. But what's even very pressing is the fact that the governors have concluded that what is majorly responsible for the inflation in the price of food are these checkpoints and the multiple taxes. That's the ones you pay on the roads and, the Tagbe roads and all of that. And that's where I'm asking whether you agree, because we've had these sort of directives before. In fact, we've been living with these checkpoints and all of the people that do what they do on the roads from years back, and the prices of food was not this high. So what could have changed? Some people say the borders were open at that time. Some people say the economy was better run at that time. Some people say insecurity was low at that time, and so we had more people going to the farm, so we had surplus of production as against what it is now. But if that is also true, I'm sure the governors would know. Why then would they conclude that the major problem are the checkpoints and the road illegal taxes? 0817-923-0007. 0817-923-0002. Again, 0817-923-0007. 0817-923-0002. Prince Chima on Facebook says the only thing to reduce cost of things in this government is when we'll have rent of houses and shops being checked. Also, we should have fixed prices. The petrol should come down to minimum 300 naira per litre. Only government can do this. And thank you for talking about the houses, because if I have to pay a house rent of almost $1 million and I sell yam, I'm technically going to increase the price of my yam, so I'll be able to generate money to pay my rent. Have you thought about it that way? The keke guy might also increase the cost for transport. And then me that need to transport my food from one place to another, because of the increase in price, he has increased so that he's able to make money to pay for his rent. I would have to also increase because now I'm paying him more. It's a circle. And the moment one thing shifts, it affects every other thing. So Prince Chima, I see your point. Dixon Jaja says roadblock is one of the causes of food inflations. The government should reduce the number of roadblocks and open the borders so food can come into the country, because we're not producing enough. I'm not in support of the dismantling of checkpoints across the state because of security challenges it will create on the people. This is also another question we asked. Do you feel worried if we remove every checkpoint from the roads? Remind you, we've done it before in 2012. This person says he's watching from Aba Undukwe Kalu. All right. JAJ from Rumigbo, let's start with you. Good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
Yes, go on.
Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen where somebody is looking for the eyes of the fish, but started looking at the tail side? That is exactly what the governors have done right now. Andrew, if you are moving, let's say, to Delta, right? When you get to Ahoda, that place you have some NEPA or PhD facilities. You know that place now, right?
Yes.
Good. When you get there, just pass there a bit, you will see some boys with sticks in their hands. Those are the illegal. They hold ID cards. I don't know who they work for, whether it's local government. They call them agric people. As you're moving into Bayelsa, if you're moving through the Imbiama side, at that welcome to Bayelsa, the boys are there. At the other side, that is from that NNPC, the boys are there. if you enter Delta, before you get to where you have that serious checkpoint, as you enter Patani, stepping down from the bridge, where
the boys are there.
You know that place, right?
The boys are there.
The boys are there.
Even the Kayama area in Bayelsa.
They always have sticks in their hand and all those put together, harassing the harassable. What happened at that welcome to Bayelsa? If you pass through in Biama, it is the police that will stop you. They will collect your papers, and now the boys will keep it. The police will now come and give you your papers back. Now, what problem do we have? We have problem of diesel cost. If you try to compare the Jonathan and the Buhari period and now, how much is diesel right now? How much is petrol that you're using to carry this whole thing? What about farmers dying at the end of the day in their farm and they cannot produce anymore? So everybody have to also for the ones that are available, demand and supply. Am I right? Then the police themselves, even though they are still the boys, to collect this money, they also collect as much as 30, 40, 50,000 from these people who are carrying this same food after the boys have exploited them to their aid. Now check them out now. So for me, I think we are still in trouble because the real cause has not been touched by the governors until we go this route. Bro,
all right. Thank you, JJ. I think I would even ask, how many of these governors have functional farms in their state? How many of these governors have invested in agriculture for the blind to see? It's not the one that you invest that you have to come to the news and say it so that we are doing this. No, the one that you don't need to say nothing. People just know that, in Lagos State, or more, the farm, it's evident. How many of these governors have actively invested in agriculture for the blind to see? Enough investment that anybody see that these farms in these states are working. Production is massive. How many of them? Emeka Inelele, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, my dear brother, good morning.
You're welcome.
My dear brother, the Nigerian people lack political will to tackle Nigerian problems, and they lack direction. Is this taking point to our problem? Taking point is not our problem. That's why the police is sometimes they need to misbehave. They should go to the root cause of the problem of Nigeria, the hardship. The hardship is subsidy removal. Subsidy removal. What are they talking about our refinery? Did they make any statement in refinery? They get now remove the subsidy to the and say they want to revisit the Potapa refinery and the foreign refinery. Up to now, no refinery, no petrol, no fuel. They went and imported the fuel from outside countries and the people. And the Nigerian government are there. What are they talking about the borders? Over 20 days, borders have been closed. We cannot import food again. Nothing. It cannot affect motor. If somebody told me the other day, Corolla now is almost 10 million naira. The food price is located high. Everything is on the crossroads. They have direction. They lack direction and they lack a political will to tackle the problem of Nigeria. What happened in Benue State? Did they come and condemn the killing in Benue State? About police. No, there is nothing you can do in Roadblocks. That is their major chopping. They are alleging that even the IG and the Commissioner of Police, they are aware of the Roadblocks. They need to give them return. I'm alleging. Thank you and God bless you.
Leighton Barry from Bori, good morning.
Good morning, Ifemi Andrew. Yes, Ifemi, in as much as I cannot condemn the move by the governors, maybe telling them that they were supposed to start from refinery, ensuring that the price of petrol is maintained and, frequent getting of petroleum products. They have made now, at least, is a sign that they are up to something. But I will believe that when I see that the measure or the system they want to use in ensuring that what they want to do now, as in, stopping all the roadblocks, because it's not just going to the government to say, this is our proposal, we should stop all roadblocks, and they will go out and sit down. Yes, you pass on the road, and you see, in fact, that is when the police checkpoint will increase. Because in Nigeria, whenever you say go, that is when they come. So it shouldn't be just submitting a proposal to the National Assembly that this is what they want, and they don't put a measure that will be able to checkmate which checkpoint, which place, when we have said this thing should not exist again, to see that there are people who are taking care of those roads, or maybe they can say, okay, these are numbers you can call. If you see any road block anywhere from Lagos to social place, then snap the place or video and send the videos to social numbers. I don't know if that is their plan, or they just want to, influence Nigeria, that they are willing. The suffering of Nigerians has touched them, so they want to use that one. At the end of the day, you will see a policeman will boldly tell you at the checking point that, who tell you that? Who tell you that there should be no checking point? Are they government? You see, the policeman will be very bold to maybe react to whatever you say. So my concern is, are the governors really serious that they want to put a stop to this roadblock and this excess multiple taxation all over, even in their states? What measures have they put in place? This proposal they submit, what does it entail? What is the content? What did they see that are obstacles to these things? Whenever they want to say no to it, and some people will come to oppose, what have they been able to put in place? It's what we need to know about.
Late Ambari, thank you. I like the fact you said about if a person now tells the police or asks questions, police will tell you, who told you that? They say checkpoint or this. Because even remember when the IGP had said no policeman has the right to check your phone or to ask you on the road, say wants to look at your phone, because that's invasion of privacy. Do you know there was a video of a guy, I think it was in Lagos or where, the guy was telling the police officer, you can't check my phone. Check, the IGP has said you shouldn't, and the policeman says, who are you? It was serious. And the boy was being harassed, even while the boy was repeatedly saying, the IGP has said that you don't have the right to carry a person's phone and say, you want to look into my phone. And here you are telling me to open my phone and give to you, to bring my phone for you. And there was a back and forth. I think, I don't know if that guy was dismissed or something, but that trended for a while. So you can imagine that something like that. That's why I asked the question, how do we identify which one is illegal? Because they did not say all checkpoints. They said illegal checkpoint. That's what they said. Illegal checkpoints. Eze Ken from Obimini, good morning.
Good morning, Fiemi Andrew.
Yeah.
Eze Ken, calling from Obimini. Fiemi, I want to answer your question bit by bit. The illegal checkpoints are the ones that the policemen.
Hello, Eze Ken. Ken? Hello, Ken. Can you hear us? Unfortunately, I think the call got interrupted. Ken? We have to go to NTA Road now. Mufasa is on the line waiting. Ken, if you can, call back, please. Mufasa, good morning.
Yeah, hi, Andrew. Good morning.
All right, go on.
Well, I really do not take anything coming from our policy formulators seriously, even governors, presidents, and unfortunately the police. JJ made mention of a very silent issue which I want to further buttress. So if it's checkpoint, and Andrew, when you move along our highways, you see civilians, mounting roadblocks on federal roads. And if you see how these people operate, even under the watchful supervision of the Nigerian police, so which do you classify as a checkpoint or roadblock? Because these are the same people who stop these truck drivers, trailer drivers, and begin to demand money from them. So, and some of them, you see them with ID cards and all of that. So, there are a lot of things that we need to correct in this our Nigerian society. I'm talking about the Nigerian Governors Forum. It was not the same Nigerian Governors Forum that put a ban on open grazing. Are we not seeing cattle roaming the street of Nigeria, even in the south? So, they just come up with policies and there's no kind of enforcement. People don't need to take them serious. For me, it's just like same old stories. Who will enforce the order they have been given? They were the ones that said we are putting a ban on open grazing, and we are still saying that. The IGP has said no police roadblocks on the road. We are still seeing police roadblocks on the road. So now they are coming to tell us illegal checkpoints. Is it the ones mounted by civilians with sticks in their hands, harassing truck drivers? So I don't take them serious until I begin to see real actions taken by our government, both at the federal and state level. That's when I begin to take them serious. Otherwise, this one is coming to me as same old story.
All right.
Broken record.
One more from Triumphant in GRA. Triumphant, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Triumphant.
Yes, hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go on. Good morning.
Okay, sir, please, let me take your mind to the campaign period prior to the 2023 election for the three top presidential aspirants, as Labour Party, PDP, and the APC. You could recall that all of them promised to remove fuel subsidy in Nigeria if elected as president. But people were not complaining about that because people were of the opinion that if subsidy is removed, the money will be used judiciously. If you check your facts, plus or minus, Nigeria saves approximately ₦1 trillion every month from removal of subsidy. So people were expecting that this money would be channeled into agriculture and some other things that will make life easier for Nigerians. But when people are having fuel at this very high cost and they are transporting their goods to and fro, invariably they will add this charges to their cost. And when you're talking about removing checkpoints, this is not really the problem because there is a cost. This is just an effect. You know, the cost of it comes down to the PMS, how much people are purchasing what they will use to transport their goods. And the government is just one-sided because government is just focusing only on that, or they are not putting more effort on agriculture, making sure that there is peace, in fact, that people are producing food so that things will stabilize in the country. That is why we are raising eyebrows about the government, because some of these things is not as if someone is partisan, but things are not in the right shape. Generally speaking, this is the way to run a government. It's not fair. It will not be fair because the right questions are not asked by people in the government how to solve it. They are trying to solve the effect and not the cause. And I continue to sympathize with Nigerians and ask because they continue to suffer. Sorry to say, but that is what will happen.
Okay.
Because the fundamental problems are solved. We have fundamental problems in Nigeria. We have high-handed people who don't want to be questioned. The people in power know them, but they just want to play along so that their regime will not be costly. All kind of.
All right, Triumphant.
Fundamental problems of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Triumphant. You said quite a lot. Again, I asked this question. I ask, how many of these governors have a good, proper functioning farm in their state that's producing? My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Stay tuned for Jude. It's going to be a fun Friday. Good morning.
For more talk, news and sports, stay tuned to Nigeria Info. We'll be right back after this.
Port Harcourt, guess what? Kids FM 101.7